Hello everyone and welcome to State of the Realm, your weekly Final Fantasy XIV podcast. Got a few announcements at the start of the show just to keep you guys up to date for the next bit of schedule, but of course we're going to be talking about patch 5.1 and we're going to be combining our first impression show and our spoiler cast in a fortunate turn of events based on what we'll say at the beginning of the show. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm one of your hosts, Michael, Mr. Happy Pober. I'm of course joining me is Slyh, aka Slythefox, aka the Hunter Helper Slyh, aka you my boy Blue. How'd it go yesterday? For anyone who doesn't know, we're doing a Saturday show because Slyh was front page and doing some Monster Hunter helping yesterday, and we got to give him his face. Front page. Oh, you weren't front page? Okay, I saw Monster Hunter.
Yeah, it was hosted by
hosted. That's right. That's the thing. Yeah. How'd it go?
Yeah, it was good. It went well. I helped randos, get some. I was kind of hoping to get like more randos who needed like AT stuff and like behemoth.
Nah, you had to help all the lobies, man.
Yeah.
The hyper lobies.
Right.
UBI. All right, and it's a spoiler show, so it has to have Ethys. We don't have a choice.
Hi.
He's here, I guess.
Hi guys. Hey, what's up? It's in the contract.
Yeah, it's in the contract.
Like 5 years ago.
Checks in the mail.
Yeah. Awesome. Good.
Yeah.
It fucking better be this time.
last time I said, hey, you want these? Like, no, man.
I'd never said that.
All right, checks in the mail then. There you go. Now you can't complain when it's doing the checks in the mail. It's good to have both of you. Before we go any further, though, since we always get this question, since apparently nobody makes it to the end of State of the Realm, understandably. So the next 2 weeks we won't have a show. We're going to say it now. Slyh.
Why is that?
Slyh will be traveling. So, if you're traveling, just let him have his time. Don't try and force a show out when you're in unfamiliar territory. And the following week after that's Ultimate. There's no way I can squeeze a show in the week of Ultimate. So that's just how it's going to be. And then we'll do a show about Ultimate the following week. He likes it.
Cersei's into it. Cersei heard Ultimate and she's like, not again. No.
Living liquid? No.
She spent like 6 months doing uwu and she doesn't have thumbs and she's only got like these little claws. So
she doesn't have thumbs. Yeah, that could be a problem.
She has to stand on top of the mouse and we have to have like one of those special. She uses like a G600 and just like mashes the side buttons with her beak. It was painful to watch.
Well, you know what?
Very traumatized.
Well, you know what? It would probably be a lot easier if they use a SteelSeries Rival 500 because they are the sponsors for the show as well. So don't forget, there's a giveaway.
Sorry. That's probably what she was using.
Okay, honestly. Yeah, it's ergonomic, yeah. So I'm sure that it would be better for them.
Bedgonomic.
So SteelSeries is a sponsor for our show. 10% discount code in the chat. 10% discount code in the description of the YouTube video, and we have monthly giveaways, so be sure to enter those as well, because it's free stuff. Why not?
Nice segue.
Yeah, it worked out pretty well. It's a good thing you named a different brand other than the one that sponsors the show. So I could say, well, they should have been using a SteelSeries. There you go. And also, one other thing. Thank you to our patrons. We'll be doing our formal thank yous, our shout-outs to our patrons. Darkness, everything, at the end of the show, because we've probably got a long one in store. Maybe not. We'll see. So, gentlemen, 5.1's been out for a few days. Ethys, I know you've been mostly busy, so I'm going to start with Slyh. How have you been enjoying it? You've enjoyed your Yoras. You just finished Nier Automata a few days before, like a week before.
I have to say, this is probably the most solid 0.1 patch I've ever played. I know it sounds a little.
That's tough too. Oh, you weren't around for 2.1. That's right. 2.1 was really solid when it came out. Yeah.
But in comparison to, Heaven's Ward, Shadowbringer, God damn it. I keep saying Shadowbringers, Stormblood, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, 4.1 was pretty solid too, admittedly. Like, we had Shinryu. I think this was, I do agree with you in a way, specifically compared to Stormblood. I still think 2.1 is the peak of 0.1 patches we've ever had, but that's only because we haven't gotten everything in the 0.1 patch yet, technically. And B,
True.
2.1 was loaded. That was treasure hunts, 3 EX primals, Ultima hard mode, new story patch, which I guess to be fair, Good King Mogomog wasn't exactly a highlight, so maybe it
Glamour.
Right.
Glamour. And I think
Glamour.
Desynthesis might have been that patch too. It was either 2.1 or 2.3.
I mean, it's not fair to compare it to 2.1 because there was just like so much to do. Like so much quality of life shit missing from 2.0.
Yeah. That's
Right.
fair.
And that's when the game was revitalized, basically.
Long.
I feel like 3.1 definitely gets a bad rap because of the time.
Gee, I wonder why 3.1. I wonder why 3.1 gets a bad rap. Want to elaborate on that?
Because of the time between 3.0 and 3.1, and everybody was bitching, and then we get it, and like people were still bitching.
Only the least popular relic step, other than books, Diadem and Lords of Arminion. Thornton was there, I guess.
Yeah, and a pretty boring MSQ chapter.
Yeah, it wasn't great. But overall, so you really like 5.1 Slyh so far?
I did. And we still don't have everything, and that's the thing. It's been a pretty solid patch, and we don't have everything yet, so
yeah.
Still more.
We'll touch upon anticipations for the follow-ups for the 0.1 and 0.11 and 0.15 stuff in a bit. Ethys, so you just started getting into like 2 days ago, I think 2 nights ago.
Yeah. So I've done MSQ and I've done Yorha, and I think probably the strongest 0.1 MSQ patch. Normally they're a little bit underwhelming. Like after the big climax of the 0.0s, it's just a little bit of busy work. But the MSQ is really, really good. The 24 man was really fun. It was a really fun instance. More questions than answers in regards to like story and lore and stuff. But no, it was a good start. It was a really strong start. And everything else looks awesome.
I agree too. I'm ranked 5 with the Pixies. I've done every block out of that. I actually am really enjoying it, even if I think I know where it's going. I think most people have an idea of where it's going, more so than the previous Beast Tribe quests. Lee Meg is wonderful to go to in between expansions of it and all the furnishings that we can get, the macaroon cushions and whatnot. I don't even care about housing. But I was like, I know people are literally looking at Lee Meg and being like, so Ilmeg housing when? And I was like, you stop asking for housing for every zone that comes out.
Absolutely freaking not. No.
The Titania remix going on in there the whole time.
It's a really good arrangement.
It is. It's much more tolerable. over a
That's
long
way to
period.
put it.
Well, I actually didn't hate the Titania theme. I hated that I didn't hate it. Because like
you hated yourself for liking it.
Yeah, because I was like, this is really a theme that for 6 hours of grinding a primal, I should really hate it.
That's true. After 6 hours, you should be sick and tired of this crap hole castle, but you're not. But for some reason,
you're still saying fa la 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 la.
Yeah. La 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 la. Yeah, I don't know how I don't actually hate the Titania theme, but I don't. And so that's where that is. 5.1 story, definitely a lot more questions than answers, but it wasn't without it wasn't dull at all. I really enjoyed the new character that we'll talk about, the new Mo that we were introduced to, and some of the other things that were going on. I felt a lot more like a step forward than the previous ones. 3.1 was closure on like Raubon and Nanamo. 4.1 was closure on Raubon and Nanamo, and that prior to this story wise was my favorite 0.1. And this was a clear step up. And Yorha, listen. They went crazy. This whole collections thing, I'm so down for.
Yes.
I knew you would be. I knew you would be.
It's not exactly what I wanted, but it's a good compromise.
Yeah, it's fun to have the Nier Automata UI in the game mixed in with re-explore. Like, I would have loved to have gone back to the, to some of the other 24-mans and walked around afterwards and, like, found things.
Some of the other 24. How about, like, every instance? How about just every dungeon?
No, I think with the Crystal Tower, I'm less, or, like, World of Darkness, perhaps, but not for some reason, I don't really feel that urge for Labyrinth of the Ancients or Circus Tower as much as I do, like, Weeping City is a big one for me, or Dunskaith even, but not Circus Tower and Loda.
Ethys, you want to go to every dungeon. I mean, it would make lore tours a hell of a lot easier, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it makes lore tours like a little bit less speculative, and it like draws your attention to sort of important or salient things. At the same time, it would run the risk of you kind of being a little bit lazy, exploring zones and thinking like, well, if I'm not led there by a collection, then it's not important or not salient.
Right.
It's just having like any more flavor text that adds to the world or adds to the lore in any way is just really nice. Like what I've always wanted is something like books in Elder Scrolls that we can collect, like where we collect equestrian rolls and triple triad cards and stuff like that with, like 500 to a couple of thousands of words on anything. We can collect them, we can put them in our house on a bookshelf or whatever. But having like basically dungeon sightseeing logs is a nice second. I like it.
Yeah,
I'm into it.
I'm very down. So I think we're gonna start with the biggest elephant in the room, being the actual 5.1 main scenario. Now, as a reminder, we've already kind of dived into it. I did say it was spoilers at the start of the show, but I'll do another little reminder. If you haven't played through the 5.1 story, the Pixies, Yorha, or pretty much any of the story-related stuff, I don't know how much you guys know of Kaishir. I haven't gotten around to other than the introduction quest. I haven't gotten too much into it yet.
I haven't touched it.
I don't think there's even any place to go with it yet. I think you can pretty much only do this week's collectibles. I don't think you can access the next rank already. But yeah, spoilers. So you've been warned. So
and lore bombs.
Oh yeah, 5.1's main scenario was certainly again more questions than answers, and some interesting little tidbits that you could ponder on.
Yeah, there's some metaphysics in here.
Yeah. So the overall theme of 5.1's main scenario is that we are looking for a solution to get the Scions back to their actual bodies on the source, and now their bodies are starting to destabilize in regards to their etheric properties. In the order that they were pulled from their bodies, they're essentially destabilizing. The ones that were pulled first are destabilizing faster than the ones that are destabilizing later. So I think we all this was the obvious next step for 5.1. I don't think there were any questions that this was going to be the immediate thing that we tackled. The question was,
we needed a time bomb. Yeah, exactly. We needed a time bomb. We needed some stakes. We needed a sense of urgency. Stakes.
Yeah, sorry. I really needed that. I needed that pretty bad. Oh, why is my stream not working? It's okay.
So we're pondering solutions, and the first point that everyone comes up with is, as the Exarch says, when we teleport like back and forth, we can take our possessions with us. And it's like, hey, what if you just thought of all the Scions as like people that you own?
Listen, they actually pondered on a few ideas, because that was one of the first things they came up with, and they were like, it's too ambiguous. I was like, have you seen what I did in Eden? Just ask Green and Thancred. This is not a good idea.
Wouldn't trust us for that. Which is basically the conclusion. So we're like, well, what if we like transfer them into objects, and then you could like own those objects?
Yeah.
Basically, we need a spirit bond with the Scions. And we decided the one way that we know how to contain a soul is in white auracite. Right. But the problem with white auracite is that it can't hold a soul for very long. It can't hold any sort of ether for very long. It's extremely porous. You can kind of think of it like a sponge, and think of like someone's soul as water, right? You can hold it for a little bit, but you've got to move like really, really fast.
And don't squeeze it.
Yeah, don't squeeze it. Don't hold it too tight. So our solution then was to go and see old mate. What's his name? Luke Beck. Is that it?
Beck Luke.
Beck Luke. Yeah.
Beck Luke. Beck Luke. Yes, Beck Luke.
I would say Beck Luke, even though it's a G. I don't know why. It's just like my brain wants to say that.
Luke. Yeah.
Luke.
Yeah.
So he is a pneumo. He was part of the court of Velbet. And those who have done the tank role quests may know that he is basically incidentally responsible for the plague that fucked up Vobit, which basically it turned people into Void Sap. He basically created this. Go on, Mike.
Oh, I was gonna say I don't know if everyone had it, but when I had the option to acknowledge the plague, and I'm assuming that's because I did the tank role.
Yeah, that's only people that actually did it.
Yeah.
So basically, what he did is he created some kind of alchemical reagent that basically did like the opposite of Black Rose. It would shift people's ether like so dramatically to astral and let them draw on like shitloads of ambient ether that they basically turned into void scents. And that's why in that quest we're fighting void scent, and there's that court mage that is like manipulating all of that, trying to take over Vobit, whatever. He feels responsible for that, and he's basically exiled himself from the world ever since. And he happened to choose an abandoned winter palace of some sort of Lakeland, which was the nation of the elves. That's just on the other side of the source there. So there was a bit of confusion.
The lake.
Yeah, the lake, the source. Yeah. Not the world. Yeah, the lake.
Naming.
So there was a bit of confusion with that dungeon because it kind of looks like vaguely Yulmoran and vaguely Verbertite, particularly because like Lubeck was a Verbertite himself. But it's Lakeland. It's part of Lakeland. Belongs to the elves, and that's why you see lots of elves in there.
Yeah, and I gotta say, like the way they can write characters into the story has so vastly improved. And if it wasn't already evident through Emmett Selk and the Scions throughout Shadowbringers, I think Beck Luke, I said his name backwards that time, is a pretty solid way of like they're getting a lot better at writing characters into the story when they need to thrust like a new character in, because he was immediately introduced, and I couldn't help but just like them immediately. Some sort of quality to the character where like
I was trying to remember whether we'd seen him in the Echo flashbacks for the tank quest.
No, I think it's the other one that's in
the one that's still in Ilmeg.
Yeah, the one that's still in Ilmeg, because that's who you talk to and you get the Echo flashbacks from.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. You speak to him like 3 times, and I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was a big fan of Look Back. Also, I mean, kind of a point we didn't even touch on. You mentioned the Grand Cosmos. Solid addition to the expert roulette, to the dungeons. I say we're 4 for 4 on max level dungeons at this point for good ones.
It's a really cool dungeon. It's really, really cool.
What about you, Sly? Let Ethys do his nerd rant. We love it. But we've let him do it. Now we gotta disperse.
I mean, in terms of a character, I do like Beck Luke, but in terms of like writing, as you said, I think they have a way of writing in characters. Like they'll write in characters, and we'll get a lot of exposition out of the ones we need, whereas some are kind of throwaway. And we've experienced that in story patches like this too. But yeah, I think Beck Luke is not one of those throwaway characters. And we'll be seeing probably a lot more of them in terms of getting the Scions back to the source.
You think we'll be seeing a lot more of him?
I think they're gonna die. I think they're gonna Moonbreeda this motherfucker. But
I was about to say, or is it gonna be a Moonbreeda?
I think before Shadowbringers is done, they Moonbreeda. I think because he exiled himself for something, like he's literally set up with death flags all over as the exile who blames himself for destroying the lives. Like he's ready to go.
They do definitely feel like more of a Moonbreeder or a Hilda or something like that. Like a character that's very well developed, but then just sort of like abandoned after a couple of patches. But
I mean, yeah, like we'll abandon him like once the whole transporting the Scions thing is done.
Once we abandon Rain, we'll leave him behind with Rain.
Yeah, like Rain will
Thancred. I have a feeling Thancred's got some bad stuff coming his way soon. I have a feeling his decision making after
Thancred has constantly got bad stuff coming.
Yeah, but like he's gonna want to stay, but his body he can't.
That's what I was
going
to ask.
Destabilization.
We don't know that he can't.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I'm guessing.
This destabilization is basically like their body and their soul, like the thread that joins them is basically like fraying and deteriorating. And we don't know what happens, but like presumably it'll mean either they die or they're unable to return.
Right. And I'm thinking it's unable to return because right now they're not seeing or feeling any effects on the first. Whereas like Krall and everybody can see it on the source, like at their actual bodies.
Yeah, but they don't have their bodies on the first, so there's no reason they would experience any effects. Because either that thread will just snap and they'll die like on the spot, or they won't really experience anything.
I'm in the boat that it's probably not going to go well if they don't come back. I have a feeling, and I can't help but feel that they're going to want to bring Scions into whatever they do for 6.0. I don't think we're going to just leave them.
But do we feel like we will figure out a way for people other than the Scions to travel to and fro from the source?
I think the etheric properties of the Scions, at least you need to have etheric properties that's like at least somewhat resembling of the Scions to some degree.
Because they're like,
well, except I guess Thancred's kind of an exception.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have the echo, if you have the echo, you can just abandon your body and attune yourself to a crystal ladder, crystal of darkness,
right,
and just go wherever the fuck you want.
So come on with us, Kryle. Get over here, Kryle.
Yeah, I mean, what I guess they could do is round up all of the Yulmoran free people, all the people that should be in jail, and just sacrifice them all to give the Scions the resonant. And then they can travel back and forth as much as they want. And we kill all of the assholes in Yulmore, 2 birds stoned at once. Solved. There you go.
Oh, I love killing 2 stones with 1 bird.
You can have that one for free.
Wow.
Orange. That's yours. You can have that.
Like a proper Asian.
Yeah. 2 birds stoned at once.
There you go. You just... You're like me with you're like me when everyone came back in Heaven's Word when I was like, just kill someone. That's what you're like right now.
At the end of 5.0, everyone's like, oh, I don't know what we're gonna do. Like, I don't know how we go back, and I'm just waiting for Orange to turn around and be like, no, we already established all we have to do is kill the Exarch.
Yeah. I like how he keeps saying that if he's willing to do it, then I'm okay with it. I'm like, I am.
I'm just over here like, just do it.
By the way,
is this another Urianger prank? Is this like his biggest prank? Is this the long con that he's playing?
Bro, he's got at least 3
to
jokes
kill all
going on.
To kill all the Yulmorans to turn himself resonant. That's the ultimate prank.
Dude, we know of one prank he's got going on right now. He's got to have at least 2 or 3 more up his sleeve. He's been with the Pixies way too long to not.
Yeah,
as far as I'm concerned.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, once we go through the Grand Cosmos, by the way, if you're doing it with trusts, don't burn everything with your AoE and then kill them like I did. Because that's what I did the trust. I burned all the furniture except for like 2 pieces.
Oh.
And so only myself and 2 of the trusts could do it. No. And Ishtola's like, no! Dead. So watch out. And then we get look back, and Alice as predictable as ever.
Oh, I love Alice.
Yeah, me too. But I literally can't help but think every single thing she does is gonna be about Gabu, and I'm yet to be wrong. So among everything that's going on, we're gonna skip ahead a little bit because this is something that I predicted before. I was like, nothing good happens around Halric. Nothing good, but something good kind of happened. There's a lot of implications around the events, and I can tell Ethys is very excited about what happened over at the inn at Journey's End, because it is. Oh yeah. It is actually a bigger deal than I guess we're even led to believe in the main scenario itself. So, would you like to give everyone a quick overview of what happens over at the inn at Journey's End?
Oh my goodness. So basically, Becklug, like we say, this project that kind of ruined everything in Vobert was kind of like a reverse Black Rose. It was about stimulating people's ether, making it shift more towards astral. And he's like, hey, we can use this to like temporarily sort of like reverse the effects, these umbralization effects, like little by little by little. And that only works for like the ether of their body. And then he's worried about the ether of their soul. And drags a porksy into it.
We'll talk about the porksy.
Are we gonna talk about the porksy?
I mean, it's that looks like every kid's like first gingerbread cookie. All right.
I love it. It's fantastic.
I was like, somebody has to have a Twitch or Discord emote of it. Like, it has to exist already. There's no way it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
A porksy emote?
Not a porksy.
No, the clay one.
The clay porksy that Alice makes. 100%.
Yeah, because that's fantastic.
Yeah. It was Pork Champ.
Basically, Pork's Champ.
There you go.
Basically, the idea is that a familiar can like act as an entity to make it easier to like change the polarization of ether in some way. I got really mad at Alize here because Becklug is like starting to explain it to us, and then Alize's like, we don't care about the law. We don't want to hear about it. Just tell us what we need to do. And I'm like, Alize, I love you, but shut the fuck up. Terrible. Terrible.
Yeah. She said something that's like, that reminds me of the scenes in Ivalice where what's her face is explaining everything, and they're like 10 words or less.
Yeah, Sid's like, explain it like I'm 5. I'm like, shut up, Sid.
Yeah. So yeah, all that goes on throughout the inn at Journey's End, and we essentially end up with a potion or a salve of some kind that we end up making the clay, and we get all the components together to turn the porksy into Angelo, which I'm sorry you're not a dog in this game. Continuing Final Fantasy VIII reference, you're a porksy, but at least you didn't look like the clay figure by the time you came out full and completed.
It's a bit of a downgrade for Angelo, not gonna lie.
No dog cannons, pig cannons though. I got it.
I guess kind of cool that we know that Alize and Alphino had a dog at some point.
Yeah.
For like role players, I suppose.
Yeah, and Alphino laughing at Alice's clay creation is... I just want him laughing really at... Yeah. The Warrior of Light's like, I don't want anything to do with this. You're gonna die. She's going to kill you.
It's just as well that we weren't asked to do it, because looking how our like primal memories turned out, that porksy would have been...
It would have looked like the clay figure.
I think it would have looked much, much worse.
It would have came out like what's his name from Goonies.
It would have killed everyone in Armorang, honestly.
Yeah, you know how many times I looked at that and I said, "Hey, you guys." Like, I was like, this is exactly the whole thing that comes to mind when I look at this clay. Yeah, chunk. Yeah, chunk.
Oh, jeez.
But the big thing that is, so obviously in the short term, we take the porksy and we use it to, again, heal the ether of the body, or at least begin to mend the ether of the body for Halric.
Of the mind.
Of the mind, yeah.
The tonic will do the body just fine.
Yeah.
It's the mind that we're worried about.
Yeah. So for Halric, he finally starts speaking, is the big thing that comes out of that. And I'll say, of course, wants to replicate it on Gabu back in the source, because everything she does always comes back to Gabu ever since, like, 3.4.
No, this is really, really interesting, because the implication, if it works, the implication is that tempering is an umbralization of the mind, basically. It's changing the polarity of the mind so that it's still, so that it can basically be puppeteered by someone else. And that's a really, 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 really big deal. That was like law bomb number one. Because we've always known that, like, involved in tempering is basically an over-aspecting to, like, the element that the primal's associated with. So the biggest example is Leviathan, right? When he tempers people, they start to look all, like, fishy and stuff because they got, like, way too much water ether. And the idea is that, okay, if we can kind of, like, center that polarization or that imbalance, then maybe we can reverse the tempering. And that's huge, because back in Eorzea, it's still the modus operandi of the Eorzean Alliance to put to death anyone that has been tempered at any time by any primal. And that's like, you know, hundreds and hundreds of people.
Probably more.
So that's... Yeah, it's probably like over the course of the last, 5 years, it's probably been thousands. So that's cool. That's really, really cool. Implication number 2 is that we reach the conclusion of basically solving the problem with white auracite. How do you stop water from pouring out of a sponge?
You freeze it?
Anyone? You freeze it. Exactly. So
I paid attention in science. Because I've never frozen a sponge in my life.
Well, basically, it's an apt metaphor, because the idea is that if we umbralize the anima of whoever's soul is going into the white auracite, then it's not gonna move. The ether is gonna be still, and it's gonna remain contained, and then we can just sort of like reverse that when we get them to their destination. The only problem that's left is that Becklug, yeah, that's it.
Luber.
We can't do this.
Introduces for the first time, because we've known that there's a distinction between, like, the ether of the body and the ether of the soul. Is introduced for the first time that there's a distinction between the ether of the soul and the ether of the mind.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, we've gone from Cartesian dualism to Cartesian, neo-Cartesian, I don't even know, trialism? What would you call it?
That would require me to have any sort of knowledge of these things.
For metaphysics, it's a really big deal. For like the metaphysics of 14, we've always thought there's been 2 substances. There's physical and there's non-physical. And now within non-physical, we've got mind and soul being like 2 different components, and we have to work out some way to like transport both of them together. And that is just like, at least for me.
That's just...
Yeah, it's like that. That's what my brain's doing. Plato already had a tripartite soul. Yeah, I guess that we're going from like Cartesian to Platonic. Okay. All right, it's a discussion for another day. Long story short, it's a big deal. Take my word for it. It's a big deal for me. It's a big deal for Urianger. You guys don't need to worry about it, because we're going to. All right. Cool.
Dude, I always worry about everything Urianger does. Everyone's like, dude, the more time Urianger goes by, the more he does Asian shit. I think his time around Elidibus in the Warriors of Darkness may have changed his perception on a lot of things. He did get access to a lot of knowledge in that time.
He did.
And also, just like in Novran, like Urianger is now at the point where he knows way more than like the Baldezians ever knew. He knows way more than Louis Suar ever knew, more than Matoya. He's like on the next level in terms of being a massive frothing nerd.
Yeah, okay, I guess that's one.
And he's still got time to get fucking shredded.
Well, he just doesn't eat. he just reads. He's like, man, I'm hungry. Let me read.
He eats. Don't forget the pixies feed him.
Yeah, but he doesn't need to. He just like feeds off ambient ether and just channels it straight into his guns. He just draws like little ley lines on his biceps, and all the ambient ether is just like, and yeah, that's how he. That's how he
thought
does
about this a lot. Luckily for you,
I put a lot of thought in this.
Luckily for you, there is a fellowship dedicated to Urianger's abs on Ether.
Fucking right, there is. Hell yeah.
We'll get to talking about fellowships as a feature later. Okay, so obviously there's those implications. Now, some people, obviously not reading too much into the ether of the mind and the soul, look at that almost as a counter to the Black Rose, but it's not. Do you think this gives us any better idea of how Black Rose affect now that we have these separate components of body, mind, and soul? Do we have a better understanding, at least an implication of how Black Rose actually works on a more metaphysical level?
Well, Black Rose only needs to polarize the body.
Right.
Because if the body is completely polarized to umbral, then basically your blood stops flowing, your organs stop working, you can't breathe, and you die. You don't need to fuck around with the mind and the soul. Whereas if you umbralize the mind and the soul, but the body is not umbralized, the body can keep functioning.
You get something more like Halric.
Exactly. Yeah. And it seems like that's one way to transport people through White Auracite. It's like temporarily do that to them, put them in a crystal, and spirit bond with it, put it in your pack. It seems really, really risky. It doesn't seem like a great plan. It seems like there's a lot of things that could go wrong.
Yeah, but we're the warrior of light, darkness.
Yeah, but how many times have we had people getting stuck in the live stream?
Listen, just because this Tola keeps fucking trying to do the same, it's her fault. She's like, let me just keep doing it. I know it's gonna. I know I might die, but you know.
Eventually, that shit's not gonna work though. Like, we're not gonna be able to put her back. Eventually,
she keeps doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, there has to be a limit of times you can just go like into the live stream and then be pulled out or come out.
That's what we do every time we teleport.
I wouldn't even be surprised. She doesn't even use the Aetherites anymore. She's just like, fuck it, let me try again.
Yeah.
She's just practicing.
Tries to yeet herself.
And see, the next time there's no one here, like there's no one we know to pull her out. Like, we had to use
Emmett can't do it anymore.
Just ask Elidibus. I'm sure he'll be down. He's all about balance and shit, right?
I don't even know if Elidibus could do it.
Yeah, it's a good point.
The thing is, like, Emmett Selk, as we learned through the short story, Emmett Selk's like ability to kind of work with souls, and particularly souls of the dead, is like extraordinary even for an ancient.
Yeah. We'll get to talking about that specific ability when we get to talk about Hades EX a little bit later.
Okay, cool.
The arcane.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, Luke Beck obviously has made a huge impact in a very, very short period of time when it comes to our understanding of...
game changer.
Yes, he's that's, again, a big reason why I was so receptive to the new character being added. Also, the way that the Numos speak, I kind of didn't even realize it before. It's one of the beast races I find least annoying to listen to. Like, them and the Pixies are like the two like least annoying beast races.
Well, because they actually use like English grammar.
Yeah, probably. Oh, whoops. I didn't mean to do that. Hold on. I clicked out of the video, and there's an image from my Discord in there. And it was of E.T. eating crayons. It was of crayons. It was of E.T. eating crayons. They were parses.
What the fuck?
Let me get back in there. It's pretty funny.
Well, to be fair, that could have been much worse.
It could have been much worse. Trust me, I know. It was pretty funny though. Technical difficulties. It's screwed up. Oh no! It didn't screw up that much. I just need to do this.
It could have been so much worse.
Oh yeah, it could have. There we go. We're all good. That's good. That's funny. Yeah, that's. Dude, the number of Discords I'm in, you could guess any one of them and probably be right. It's the general discussion in that one. After the cool stuff, with Luke back, we move on to the second part of the MSQ, which is Wait. Before that, Stat wants us to acknowledge the dog terms when we speak to.
Yeah, what's up with that?
They just they're like obedient like dogs when they're naturally like inclined when they hear like terms of obedience that you would normally use on a domesticated pooch. Are they
dead dogs?
I guess. I didn't even begin to really like.
Because the thing is, like the pixies, at least as far as we know, they're dead children.
Yes.
The Fuar are drowned. People.
Mm-hmm.
The Amaro are just sort of like ethereally created chimeras. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The New Mo, we don't know what their origins are. Are they dead dogs?
They're dogs. We've got that much. We know they are dogs.
Yeah. Yeah. Why are we such dicks to them when we meet them?
We needed him to. We needed look back or back.
Yeah, but did he meet
the Alphino enjoyed that way too much.
He did.
He really did.
He was being such a prick.
Yeah, you don't see any dogs. I don't think we see dogs anywhere if they're not giant, evil creatures that we destroy. I don't recall ever seeing a dog.
Yeah, I mean, the closest we see is like wargs.
Yeah, wargs. Maybe.
I mean,
wolves.
Oh, yeah, we do get a minion. That's true. We do have the dog minions.
And then the dogs in the Heaven on High.
Yes. There you go. Do you mean the auspice?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but they're not on Novrant.
Right.
Sure.
Right. Okay, so yeah, then we get to the second part. Yulmore trying to unfuck itself.
Yeah, well, we're basically China's probation officer for part 2.
Yeah.
And he's basically broken the what do you call it? The clause where you're only allowed in like certain places when you're on probation.
Yeah, and he just leaves. He's like, I gotta figure this shit out. I'm out.
Yeah, he's like dismantled his ankle monitor and crossed state lines.
Left his wife.
Yeah.
Just worrying.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, to be fair, he left her a note. She's just too dumb to read it, which surprises nobody.
Not too dumb. She was just too panicked to read it.
She didn't even look.
No, she's too dumb.
Yeah, dude.
She's so fucking dumb.
Dude, when I was 8 years old, I ran away from home and I left a note and on my TV. I taped it to the TV. My family found it immediately because they're not dumb.
There you go.
What the fuck do y'all have against Dulia Chai? What the fuck is wrong with you?
I don't know. The fact that she's a criminal that's complicit in the murder of like a bunch of people by throwing them hundreds of meters off a balcony.
So it's like 75% of Yulmore.
No,
exactly.
That's all of Yulmore, other than
that's exactly my point. So the difference between Dulia Chai and Chai Nuz is that Chai Nuz is like, wow, yeah, we really fucked up. Let me try and like work my ass off to like turn this ship around. Whereas Dulia is just like, no, I'm just gonna like stay here, sitting, eating cake.
And I'll support my husband by bear hugging him to death. Apparently.
Yeah. She's not doing shit.
Raise him.
At least China's is trying, you know.
I just want Dulia to try. Like,
I think China's is qualified for probation.
Yeah.
But Dulia should be in a jail cell.
And he does a pretty good job. For a man with literally no self-confidence, as we learned throughout even 5.0, when we had to cheer him on and psych him up repeatedly.
Well, also for a man that's never taken responsibility for anything.
Yeah. I mean, I guess he had the Daedalus Ironworks that he threw away the responsibility for, but...
Yeah.
You know, Yulmore.
Yeah. And he's actually been doing, like, when we went to Amarang, we learned that he's basically been doing what he should have done before he joined Yulmore, which is actually, like, going around to all the mining colonies and being like, oh, yeah, here's how you operate the Talos. Here's how to keep them working. Just real quick, let me give you, like, a 5-minute, instructions.
Yeah, if only he'd done that, but, you know, Yulmore.
Yeah.
That's it. What other excuse do you have? Just, you know, Yulmore.
Yeah. Yeah, world's ending. I'm going to go and get drunk.
Even when we met him in 5.0, he seemed, like, really awkward. He was just like, yeah, I guess. Yeah, great.
I think that it's her fault. I think that she's the one that convinced him to give it all away. I think she's the nihilist. And he is just like, all right, dear, fine. We'll go to Yulmore, end of the world. Okay, what? You're telling me I can't have 5 minutes to go and tell all the workers how to use the Talos? No, we got to go right now? Oh, okay.
I mean, but he still takes responsibility. Like, he does say why he went to Yulmore, as chat's pointing out. He does acknowledge, like, that, obviously, again, he is complicit in that decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think he's just got that astonishingly powerful bottom energy. And the minute he gets away from his wife, he's getting shit done. It's the thing. The minute he's out of Yulmore, the minute he's out of her clutches, her manipulative clutches, he's actually like getting shit done and turning this ship around. He's in an abusive relationship. He is. He is.
I love this. Like, I don't like the chais either, but the way you don't like them is more entertaining.
I realized in 5.1 he's just been in this awful abusive relationship, which is honestly like fucked over most of Novrant. Julia Chai is actually Satan.
I'm not even inputting anything.
I reckon we need to put her in one of those boxes that Xenos designed and use her to give the scions the resonant. I mean, like, she's probably like got enough physical ether. Like, she's large enough to probably like charge up one of them completely with a resonant, and we can just get on with it.
I like the gentle sip of water afterwards too. Just the casual like, that's refreshing.
She's ethereally dense. She has dense bodily ether. She's taken on a lot of ambient energy.
How many different ways are you gonna
just say this? She's fat. Fuck. Damn.
I mean, dense. She's fat, but that's not the point.
Dense.
The point is that within that fat, she's got enough ether to.
I mean, that's we assumed Vothri was that big because he was ethereal. Dude, even Dragon Ball Z. Yeah. Even in Dragon Ball Z, when Gogeta, when Gotenks was formed for the first time, they thought he was fat because it was just like Majin Buu because he was just so full of power. See,
yeah, exactly.
It makes perfect sense, right?
That's how fat works in 14, right? So.
Assholes.
When I say that she's fat enough to recharge the Crystal Tower, that's not me like throwing shade. That's just me speaking literally.
No, that is a total fucking eclipse of the sun, and you know it. Shut the fuck up.
She's the only one eclipsing the sun. Right?
I honestly, Sly, I don't know how you said that and didn't think it was immediately, because I was like, oh, now Sly's in on it too. Like, I don't know how that wasn't you. You said
Thank
Eclipse,
you for
and I
handing me
knew
that one.
You know how many mom jokes were made in like high school about like your mama's so fat that the solar eclipse came, and so you know how many times that's happened in a childhood in the last like 20 years.
All right, someone needs to take this off my hands. What did Chinos do in this second chapter here?
He pretty much tried to fix every Yulmoran problem all at once by recruiting someone with a little bit more politically savvy, the advisor to Vothri's father. To his father, specifically.
To his father, right?
His father, yeah.
Yes. Who was only an asshole after Elidibus came and spoke to him. Because he was like, these people are ungrateful. I'm trying, man.
To be fair, they were.
So...
That's like, if Ethys gets
what's
fat,
this
we
guy's
call
name?
him ethereally dense.
Yes. Yes. What was this?
I'm sorry,
Regain's
Emmett Selk.
name again?
Emmett Selk, sorry. I meant to say Emmett Selk. When Emmett Selk came and visited him. What are we going?
I can't. I'm trying to find a screenshot of
Rendil.
Rendil. Yeah, that's his name, Rendil. Right. Yeah, so he was the political advisor to Vothri's father, whose name I don't think we know.
I think it just says former mayor or something when in the cutscene. Or like, I don't know. Mayor of Yulmore.
And basically he left Yulmore and put himself in voluntary exile after... I guess Vothri's father started taking advice from Emmett Selk instead.
Yep. That's
so
it.
There you go.
And he's just like, listen, you had him on the right path before, and we want to do that again. He needs to prove it. He needs to prove that he actually wants Yulmore to be a self-functioning society of not just the elite living above the poor kind of thing. And so he goes on a very long journey of asking everyone around Yulmore what they want, asking the nearby townships what they want, what their hardships are, and then eventually going, so Talos, right? That's what he knows. That's what he knows. That's literally his one trade and skill that he is familiar with. And so,
hold on, I just got a message from the king of the internet saying that I've been cancelled for fat shaming a fictional character.
King of the internet?
So I gotta go now, guys. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
King of the internet.
So I've been cancelled. So I gotta. Sorry, guys.
Well, don't fuck my Discord. It's already been fucked once.
I'm dead now. Did I?
No, I mean, like, it's weird. It just looks weird because it's just not you. All right. But yeah, he does a pretty good job until he almost gets killed twice by his wife, who doesn't know her own strength because she's ethereally dense.
I think she was actually trying to kill him.
Maybe. It's possible.
I was really about to say something, but it would have been like the low-hanging fruit. And
I mean, I thought the eclipse thing was a low-hanging fruit, but you didn't, apparently.
Can
No,
we
go
just
on, Slyh.
Can we just get off Dulichai's back?
Yeah, she's carrying enough weight as it is already.
You know what? It's weird how in tune my mind is with Ethys, because literally word for word.
That's what you were thinking.
I'm fat. I'm allowed to do that, and I'm not the one doing it right now.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that was easy. That was low hanging fruit, Slyh. Not what you said. There you go. Okay. And with that, Yulmore is trying to get back to a normal society. Chinos does his little, you've elected me, and this is what we're going to do kind of thing. And everyone's super receptive. They're like, yay! And among the chaos, Kaishir is with us, and he wants to play a larger role, which luckily he has the opportunity to with the new custom delivery quests, where he decides that the strip club is the best place to try and He's like, listen, this isn't listen, you might think this is highbrow, but this isn't every man's business. All right.
I kind of feel like Cactuar has a little bit of Stockholm syndrome. I feel like he's kind of overcompensating a little bit to try and help the same people who damn near killed him. And I feel like a lot of the lower Yulmorn residents are in the same mind too. Like, not to say that they should, like be completely fucking ill to these people and just fucking hate their guts. They have every right to, but it's a little.
It's a good point. The fact that they don't seems to like imply that they're still hanging on to like that dream that they've been having. Like the reason they were there is because they wanted to get upstairs and get in with the high class Yulmorans.
And now they're just like, well, I guess gone up there. Fuck it.
Yeah, the fact that they haven't gone up there all like Bastille Day, sort of implies. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that. There is like a residual, sort of, I guess, something like Stockholm syndrome.
Right.
That's interesting.
Well, we're going to be remedying that as long as you're handing in your collectibles every week, and he's dressed for the part at the Beehive now.
Is that what's at stake? So long as you hand in your collectibles every week, the upper class will not be taken to the guillotine by the lower class?
Well, because, dude, they're gonna
You miss one for every day. For every day that you miss, another bourgeoisie gets beheaded.
Listen, man, they just want that strip club. All right, they need the goodies. All right. It doesn't matter what kind of goodies you're looking for. The Beehive accommodates. All right. That's it. That's all that matters. And luckily, that seems to be off to a decent start. As far as I know. But at the end of all of this with the 5.1 main scenario, we essentially are kind of right back where we started, because now all we know is all of our ideas don't work. That's all we've come to kind of know by the end of it all. And we still know if we kill the Exarch, they could just leave. They keep getting sad when he suggests it, but I'm like, I'm not.
I mean, we got another one. We got a younger, hotter Exarch back on the source.
I've seen some people wondering if we need to go wake him up and teach him how to do this shit. Be like, can you bring him the other way? We're gonna wake you up 200 years early. We know you didn't need it, but like, you gotta fix this shit, man. I don't think it works like that, because it took him a pretty long time to figure out how to make us work, and he got it wrong like 6 times before we got there.
Well, we still got all his notes. We could do that. We could just wake up G'rahatir and be like, bro, we need you to merge with the Crystal Tower or some shit. And here's like 500 pages of notes. Get it done.
I don't know that that's going to work. I'm not entirely optimistic.
I don't see why not.
I'm not entirely as optimistic as you are, considering the difference in maturity between the G'rahatir we left and the G'rahatir we've met.
Well... Maybe we could kill the Source's G'rahatir.
I guess.
Just wake him up and be like, hey, we really need your help. He's like, oh, finally, yes, the realm is ready for the Crystal Tower and the secrets of Alec. How can I help you, Warrior of Light? Yeah, I need you to kill yourself.
No, we need to do it. That's not fair. You can't put that all on him.
Well, however.
It's like he's just. What are you going to be like? Just stand on the edge of the tower, close your eyes, and I'll push.
Yeah, it's up to him. I think we could give him that much.
Okay. All right. That's fine. Why would you wake him up first?
Polite. A bit of common courtesy.
We've learned a lot tonight about Ethys as a person. As a person, we've learned a lot about Ethys tonight. He's pretty fucking dark in the head.
Oriange is my priority, okay?
What does that have to do with anything you just said?
Getting Oriange home safe.
Did you call him Orange?
Or Orange. Getting Oriange and Alize home safe is the most important thing, okay?
Because they're the only two that matter.
They're the only two that matter to me. I will kill whoever I have to kill to make sure that those two are safe. All right?
All right. That's fine.
Okay. All right.
All right. Well, so we're back at square one. We go back to Tataru. You know, we get a little bit of update from Kryl about the bodies and the tending to them. And then Best Boy Estinian walks in. He's like, "Hey,
Second
I'm back."
best.
I'm sorry. We don't know where Best Boy is right now. We only know he escaped. This is the Best Boy in the room.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Best boy.
I'll give you that.
Yeah. He shows up, and it's pretty obvious where that's going. We're like, all right, this is going to be an Echo flashback, because we need to know everything that happens in Garlemald, because we haven't known yet, and now we know. So we got to see a little bit of Xenos making very, very light work of Gaius and Estinian, basically laughing at them in the face.
I mean, they did better than anyone except for us did in Stormblood, to be there.
Right.
Yeah, that doesn't say much, because they still didn't do shit.
This is almost like the level 64 quest where we couldn't do anything to him. It kind of almost felt like that, like the one back in Alamigo where he storms Alamigo. And
even the first two, even the second one where we think we're doing something, and he's like, no. All I've been able to decipher is he's like a Saiyan. Every time he gets beat, he just keeps coming back like stronger.
But he was already buffed up. He already had like his buff aura, and he was using the Ame no Murakumo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which like we had to work really hard to get him to use. So I don't know. I think Gaius and Estinian did pretty good. They had some fucking sweet moves. Let me tell you.
Oh yeah. I couldn't help but know, like, because his aura didn't look quite the same this time. That was far more.
No, it was an Ascian aura.
That was certainly an Ascian aura. I think an Ascian being in that body may have woken up certain things that.
Yeah, specifically, it was an astral aura. It was a darkness aura.
Yeah. And he can teleport now. He can literally open portals and travel and get around exactly like an Ascian does. This is becoming a problem very quickly.
Yeah, what does Kryl say? An Ascian in all but name.
Yeah, that's exactly what she says. He's an Ascian in all but name.
Now, when we get to the beginning of the flashback, the soldiers outside mention like someone else's name in terms of running Garlemald, or is there an uprising going on? Another war of succession? What is it?
There's another civil war going on. We see at least two different legions fighting against one another.
Thank you.
Which were the two? Do you happen to know? I think it was
the first and the third, maybe. It was definitely the first. Was one of them.
Does that mean our boy Garland is about to succeed the throne?
No, Garland's the fourth, I think.
Damn. Yeah, that's true. They did move things around a little bit with we learned with Gabranth and whatnot as well.
It was the first and the third. I was thinking that that Gaius was perhaps going to take like a swing for the throne when Varys was dead, but it seems like he was immediately sort of complicitly assumed to have been the murderer. Like, no one even suspected Xenos. They're like,
yeah,
well,
that pissed me off.
Gaius is standing closer.
He just fucking disappeared in front of all. You don't think that shit's suspicious?
Yeah.
None of you?
I mean, Anya and Julia was there. Like, they pretty much saw him, but they didn't see him swing the sword. They didn't see the events transpire.
Gaius is already established as a traitor.
To the body, too, also. Yeah, Gaius and Estinian are already traitors.
Gaius is already wanted. He's been considered a traitor since before 2.0. Because immediately before 2.0, the first War of Succession began. He was recalled to the capital. He refused. Presumably at some point, they learned that he'd fed intelligence to the Eorzean Alliance regarding Meteor. Basically, he's been considered a traitor since before 2.0. So, yeah, I mean, like, they're immediately going to assume that it was him, I suppose. But that's like an interesting little twist there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Xenos is the fucking Ascian now, as far as I'm concerned. That's all that really matters. But we do get a little section where we get to play as Estinian, and he makes every Dragoon wish their job worked differently. because he just destroys everything.
It's got Stardiver on a 6-second cooldown.
Yep.
I was like, all right. And we saw a Proto Ultima.
We saw Arc Ultima.
Yeah. Yeah. So the Garleans have made their own little Proto Ultima. I don't know how they managed to get the plans.
And apparently it's got a fucking, all the way fucked up Garlean.
Now, was that controlled by a resonant? Because there was a body on top of it. Like, I don't know.
We don't know whether it was resonant or not, but basically, the Garleans don't have the sort of ethereal technical knowledge that the Allagans did. So they're obviously not capable of like making a computer sophisticated enough for Ultima Weapon. So basically they were just using a live brain to control it, and they were feeding software into that person. Basically, rather than using primals, rather than having like the ether and like the anima, like the knowledge, the memories, whatever, the abilities of primals, they were like feeding software programs through this guy for these different abilities. So it's kind of like a Blue Mage Ultima in a way. It was really cool. It was really, really cool. I think it would have been cooler if we were playing as Gaius fighting it, because that would have been like really poignant.
I think a lot of people were expecting that kind of right after Estinians, and we never got it. I still think that we do get Gaius's side up, like maybe not at that point, but maybe sometime after that point.
Somewhere down the line.
Yeah.
We'd probably have to.
I would have really, really liked to have seen how Gaius reacted to that, though.
And then he had to kill more of his, more of what he would consider still his people, even after everything. Which I'm sure weighs heavy on his soul, despite the circumstances. It's like, Stinian, you kill him. I can't.
Gaius is such a fucking cool character.
We're going to talk about Dulium. After that, you want to talk about Dulium more? Talk about the.
Can we use Dulium to give Gaius the resonant? Just real quick.
All right. Sounds. I don't think he'd like that. I feel like that's not in Gaius's character.
The means justify the ends.
I don't think.
I mean,
I don't think he feels that way anymore.
I should say.
Yeah.
I think he does feel that way. He's just like a little bit more pragmatic.
Well, we go through the breakout. Estinian's like, I'm done helping you Scions. I'm leaving again.
Yeah, wasn't that kind of a nod to the Tales from the Shadows story?
Yeah,
a little bit,
yeah.
What is this other business that Estinian has?
Dude, there's still two more dragons out there. Still two more.
Yeah, but like
I don't feel like he's out there hunting them. I think he just wants.
No.
I think he's not hunting dragons. That much we know. It's established through the Dragoon quest and through the short story, his understanding of the connection between, the prior connection between dragon and man prior to everything that happened with Thord in the first.
So you think he goes back to see Ornkai and Kugane?
Probably.
Yes.
Goes back to performing in the bar for
Well, no, I think I feel like he's probably gonna play another role with the dragons and something. I feel like we're approaching the two remaining ones, and Tiamat probably playing a role in something.
You think he's gonna try to like bring them into the war?
I think he's gonna try to at least bring them out of seclusion in some degree. I feel like he wants all of the remaining dragons. We've kind of slaughtered half of them, and one of them's in a dormant state. Their daddy, specifically. And I feel like he still has a personal quest in regards to mending the relationship between man and dragon. I just don't think he has I don't know what other purpose he has. Like, he's just kind of wandering around figuring out shit to do at this point, now that Nidhogg's eyes are dead.
I think he's still going to keep working for the Scions. He just doesn't want them to tell him what to do.
Yeah.
I think he's still like on standby, he's still on call.
I think I think the other possibility is literally
terms.
just gonna go look for Gaius. He just doesn't want to be told what to do. I think
Yeah, that's possible.
Just that's what he's probably doing. I want him to bring forth the other 2 remaining dragons that we haven't seen. But yeah, and with that, we then drop into 2 very, very odd scenes to figure out. The first one sees the aftermath, where the first is slaughtering the third in Garlemald in another civil war, and Xenos just being like, boring.
A reference here to Lord Nervar,
Yeah.
who is presumably the legatus of the Third Legion.
Yes.
Which is interesting. Nervar, is that a reference to previous games?
I'd need to...
Let me see.
Yeah, you could probably find it if you have the spelling.
Nervar. I do. Nah, I'm seeing... No, I'm not seeing any.
Yeah.
So then you'd probably just need something like a reference to the name. Just lore perspective, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, Nervar is a sort of another classic Roman name. There was a historian.
Well, that's interesting. You'll need to dive deeper into that, figure out what the hell's going on.
There was a anyway, like a pretty common Roman name, and an emperor for a short time.
But the big thing is, Xenos is like, I'm bored. This is dumb. Whatever. Let them do whatever they're gonna do. It's of no matter to me. And then a white-robed figure shows up and is like, I know what you really want. You want to hunt Zodiark. Because he wants that power. He wants to mend the 2 together, and then we mend with Hydaelyn, and bam! Another sundering.
Any theories as to who this jabroni is?
Well, I actually, the thing I don't want to say, I'm going to wait till we talk about the second scene. I mean, the first guess is the obvious one, but at the same time, I don't think it's Elidibus. I don't think it's Elidibus.
It can't be Elidibus.
Yeah.
Like, it literally can't be Elidibus, because Xenos uses his
Yeah.
echo vision and does not recognize this guy. Recognizes that he's very powerful. This is someone who is at least partially rejoined, at least more rejoined than most people on the source.
Right.
I think this is an ancient. I don't know whether it's unsundered or not, but this is an ancient.
Who are the ancients that we haven't?
The dissident. Again, we presume that we are the dissident, but it's possible. Again, Xenos is very interested in like the ethereal signature of this guy. We presume it's because he's crazy powerful, but he might have the same signature as we do. It might be that, again, popular theory that where the most of the pieces of the dissident, maybe this is one of the other pieces.
Well, this piece has the opposite of, like, the last time we had people in dark robes having a hard-on for destroying Hydaelyn. Now I have someone in a light robe having a hard-on for destroying Zodiark. So somebody who, if not the dissident directly, somebody who maybe even remained unsundered after, who helped summon Hydaelyn in the first place.
Yeah, totally. Because we know the only unsundered Asians were the big 3.
Yeah.
And we were put under the impression that they were the only things that remained unsundered. Like you say, there's no reason why there couldn't be a Hydaelyn cult equivalent of them.
Yeah, without knowing the intent, it's hard to really guess anything. We're kind of just using conjecture and anecdote. But what else do we have? There isn't any way to nail down a definitive answer. Sly, you look like you're reading something that's
No, not reading, just thinking.
got the brain moving.
Because there were other members of the convocation.
There were. We don't know.
Well,
We're presumably, since they were all aligned with Zodiark, and we know there's only 3 that were unsundered.
True.
The others were there and sundered, at the very least.
And then there was the dissident that was not present for the summoning of Zodiac, who presumably led the Hydaelyn cult.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was thinking somewhere along the lines of some. I was gonna go like Homroot or what were the other names from Anida?
Well, they're Ascians.
Yeah, they are. True, but
and this dude, if he's an Ascian, he's not a sundered one. He's not a basic bitch. Like 1 part out of 14 Ascian. We should also be careful here that like this guy's MO isn't necessary for Xenos to destroy Zodiac. That's not what this is about. He says hunt Zodiac based on the implication from the end of 5.0, where Xenos is like, we're gonna like basically gorge on the power of Hydaelyn and Zodiac, and then we'll fight again. That seemed to be what he was implying. Is that Xenos is going to want to do to Zodiac basically what he did to Shinryu.
Yeah.
And the presumption that Xenos' will is greater than Zodiac's will is a hell of a stretch. And
granted, Zodiac is not all in himself, but yeah,
no,
I agree.
But like the most likely conclusion here is that this is a way to release Zodiac, and to basically find a way to cheat the next the remaining rejoinings. Basically, a way to kind of skip those. Yeah. By using Xenos as a catalyst, a vessel, however you want to put it.
We still also have the unanswered question of the source of the calamity that caused Zodiac to be summoned in the first place. We don't have a culprit for that either.
No,
so
we don't.
We don't know if that was the planet like having a natural reaction.
Probably the Amratines and creation magic and that.
Yeah, just causing a destabilization of the ether of the planet or something like that. But we don't know. We're just leaving everything open. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. And then we got one more bomb.
Yep. And that's our best boy on the first, at the very least. Our good old, a figure that resembles Ardbert, at the very least, has
We got
returned.
any theories here?
What happened?
Have we got any theories here?
That's the Warrior Light Elitibus was talking about.
Yeah.
That's all I got. Other than that, I have no remote idea.
So, the corpses of all of the Warriors of Light became Sin Eaters, the things that we were hunting.
Yeah.
In the job quests. Arbert's corpse was not disturbed. This is Elitibus in Arbert's corpse.
Most likely, yeah.
Yeah.
Once again, doing another body jump, which Emmett hates.
Yeah. And he's either coming to kill us and or trying to push the world back to the conditions of overwhelming light and all of that.
Yeah, I wonder how that works. I mean, it's just weird because we have his soul. But again, this patch already established there's ether of the body, ether of the mind, ether of the soul. We have the soul and probably the mind.
Mm-hmm.
The body.
Yeah.
We certainly
don't. The body's just been lying around. It should be in a far worse state.
Yeah, but he's an Ascian.
Yeah, but this is Elitibus, right? Everyone agrees with that.
And especially someone brings up the point that, obviously Elitibus brought the Warriors of Darkness to the source, meaning he knows that their bodies were left back on. And you know what? Even more interestingly is what happened to their bodies probably is what's happening to the Scions on the source.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably the exact same process. So in other words, he has the body.
well, there was no thread between their body and
they gave everything up.
They cut that.
Yeah, they skipped the process. They didn't have it happen over time. He just cut it himself. But still, the ultimate result being what probably what happened, just expedited.
Hmm.
But yeah, it would make sense that Elidibus would just have that body lying around, considering he's the one who separated their soul and their mind from their body.
And Elidibus fucking loves body hopping. He's all about that.
Yeah. The dialogue leaves a little bit to be desired, because while you can, without any dialogue, make that assumption, the dialogue itself was...
I disagree. I don't think there's anything in the dialogue that, like, contradicts it being a little bit...
No, I don't think it contradicts. I don't think it doesn't support it any less than it contradicts it, I suppose. It honestly just looks like Ardbert, something Ardbert would say if he was, like, fucked up in the head.
Mm-hmm.
Almost as if he was tempered. Of some kind.
Yeah. I think whether or not it's like literally Elidibus's soul in Albert's body, we can probably all agree that this is the machinations of Elidibus.
Yes.
This is being puppeteered by Elidibus in one way or another.
Well, like we said, Elidibus has to do something to be interesting. I like that instead of Elidibus getting the time to be made interesting, they're like, here's another character who you might find more interesting, this guy with Xenos. And then you go to this one and they're like, well, that's probably Elidibus, so let's go talk about that last one again instead. They said, so far, 0 for 1 on making Elidibus interesting. I guess 0 for like 6 at this point. His most interesting part was 2.1. That was it. That was when he was most interesting.
Yeah, I guess.
Him being in Xenos' body did not make him any more interesting to me.
No.
Well, luckily we now get to wait 4 months to figure out what the fuck's going on. Because 5.2 the 0.2 patch is always a big lead-in to the climactic quote finale of the initial expansion story.
I literally can't wait 4 months. I will die.
You'll be all right. I
need it. I need it. I need it.
You'll live, I believe.
I'll just have to make lots of conjectural content, I guess.
Yeah. Here, I got my own little Asian coming in here. Fucking cat.
Oh god, I could believe that.
Oh yeah, cats are Asians. They're catsians.
I can believe that. Catsians, shut up. You're banned.
Terrible.
You're banned from your own show. Get out of here.
Get out of here. Now, despite taking an hour and 20 minutes just to talk about that, there are some other things that happened in 5.1.
I guess.
Yeah, I had a feeling that this was going to get cut short before we made all of our points, and this probably have to be revisited in the future. But luckily, we'll have a lore show. We'll have a game show for that sooner or later, once you're comfortable after your move.
Mm.
There you go. That way you can have plenty of time. Yes. I already have some things, especially with the Pixie quests, that I'm preparing mentally, because I'm like, oh, fuck.
Okay. All right, good.
There's some good important things. What happened?
Wait, what? What are you thinking?
The dreams, specifically.
I would definitely be drawing questions from the Pixie quests.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I'd say the other big highlight was definitely Yorha. Now,
yeah.
Yes, it was.
Fortunately, there's plenty of references to Nier Automata. There's plenty of, again, sort of conjecture and implications that can be assumed, but it doesn't really tell us anything that helps us get anywhere, I suppose.
I would definitely like warn people against making assumptions about what's going on in the 24-man based on how things work in Nier Automata. Because I've already seen there's a lot of people that are like, oh, well, this thing, that thing, it's this in Nier Automata, it works this way. And they kind of like jump into conclusions already. And like, that's really tempting to do at the moment. But like, we literally just have to wait for, 6, 7, 8 months, however fucking long it's going to be until 5.3. And that's really frustrating.
Yes. The twins are a pleasure. I will say that. I don't know if you two feel the same. The dwarfs.
Yeah, they're fine.
I like them. I like their tongue in cheek, appreciation / abusal of the Warrior of Light. Like, oh, you have to say yes to everyone who needs help, don't you? They did that in the prequel quest, yeah.
Yeah, then again, the people of Tamra pretty much said the same thing, and we said, you're pretty much saying the same things these little brats said. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I hate those guys. They don't pay any attention to them. By the way, since you're here. It works pretty well. But it ends up leading us into, we find 2P, who with literally no chill says, no, we gotta go in there. We gotta go now. And so we just follow her. We do a very Warrior of Light thing. Sure, we will do exactly what you say because we have nothing. We don't know what the hell's going on. And
because we're bored.
Yeah,
we need continents.
Yeah, and the twins agree. We go in. We get to go through the factory. I have not taken the time to read through the collections because it's been a hell of a week for me. So those are still. I have one collection I missed, and when I got teleported back to beginning.
The collections don't tell you all that much.
Okay, that's fair.
No.
Yeah, they're mostly just very prosaic.
Yes.
Just very vague prosaic references to Nier.
Yeah, I think of the collections as kind of the weapon stories for each individual weapon. They're there. They give you maybe a tiny tidbit of lore, but nothing substantial.
It's just a bit of flavor.
It's trying to just point to things. It's for Nier fans more than anything else. It's not for really unwrapping Final Fantasy 14. It's more for Nier fans to be like, oh, is what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. Again, I haven't read them, so I'm just taking what you're telling me right now.
But we do get our role title credits from one of the last collections, I think. I forget what it said exactly, but it was something about Vow and...
Yeah, people are talking about the last one a lot.
Yeah.
Let's see. The Tattered Flower. Is that the last one?
No, it said something about a vow and cruelty.
Oh, weapon fragment data 4. Rue not what has come to be, nor lay down your arms while life still rises amidst ruin. The blade demands this vow, this virtue.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I say, very, very prosaic.
Very sumptuous, again, as you stated. That's the best we can do. It's very Yoko Taro. Well, also being very first tier Final Fantasy 14. In that it wants you to kind of start to formulate your own thoughts, and it probably won't go anything like that by the time all is said and done. As for the 24-man itself, very fun. Very enjoyable.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was a really cool instance. Yeah.
Great music, great aesthetic. Fits really well into Final Fantasy 14. Much to my own surprise, even for being something that is absolutely as out of place as the characters acknowledge it is. Which, thank God, they are very openly acknowledging that an android being that lifelike is not a usual thing for anyone on the first. So,
right.
Which, of course, leads into a bunch of Nier Automata theories that would go down a whole nother rabbit hole. The most common being that the E ending has resulted in the androids finding the first, since this is I believe it's been confirmed this is canon with the Nier Automata games. I think Yoko Taro's made comment. I think he's made comment on that. I'd have to find a source on that, but it wouldn't surprise me.
That's interesting, because if that's true, then we got a two-way valve here. Sorry, a one-way valve, where it's canon for Nier, but Nier isn't canon for 14.
Yeah. It's tough to basically, for Nier spoilers for anyone who doesn't know, in the D ending, which eventually leads into you deleting your save with the E ending, as Slyh has learned, it's basically that there was the android. What's the exact term? I'm looking. Slyh, you would know. You played it most recently. They launched it into space.
It's been so long for me.
Well, Slyh has it on recent memory. I'm looking for a specific word. And I just can't get it right now. The Ark, yeah, but it's the Ark is the name of it, but what it carries specifically.
Didn't it carry the data?
Yeah,
it didn't carry the data.
Well, yeah, it did.
Okay.
No, the data's correct. That's it. There was another word I was looking for, but I can't. It's not coming to mind. But regardless, they launch it into space.
Like the machine life form consciousness network thing.
Yeah. So they launched it into space, and the running theory is that it landed on the first. Whether that go through dimensions or just through space, which again we had a discussion on a few weeks ago. Last time you were on Ethys, where does the source and the shard separate from, is it a separate reality? Is there still normal planets like the Dragon Star and everything out there? How does space factor in? So, and of course, the copy of 9S goes with the machines.
9s goes with them.
Yeah. So again, that's it. All kind of follows the D ending, at least from what we can see thus far.
Well, to be fair, my 9S said no.
That's fine. The one that's here clearly said yes, or they made a new one. Fuck it. Who knows? Who knows? There's a lot that, again, all conjecture, all assumptions. It's we won't
and
know
like the copied factory. For those of you who like maybe haven't played Nier, it doesn't necessarily have to have been in Khuja for very long.
No,
like it could literally have appeared yesterday, because the machines just like replicate it, right, and replicate it in that rundown, aged condition.
We know it's been there for a while. We know it's at least been there for a little while because of the precursor quest, but we don't know how much time is actually... Time in the first is not something we've... Even with everything that's changed, we really don't know how it functions still compared to the source.
But it hasn't necessarily been there for like the hundreds of years that you'd think.
Right. But we don't know.
That's number one.
We don't know. It's a big old we don't know. It's kind of hard to discuss it without just looking at Nier Automata and trying to...
And just making assumptions.
And making assumptions, yes. The factory, the copied factory versus the copied city, the graveyard of 2 Bs, like there's...
The salt. People are making a lot of assumptions on the salt.
Yeah.
So in the last zone, all that white stuff, I think it's from Nier Gestalt, right? Where there's like a demon that dies and releases this stuff that like fucks people up and corrupts them.
I know Automata.
I think that's just from regular. I think that's just from regular chlorination, like the chlorination disease. I think.
Well, that was another thing people, of course, are talking about. Is we do get a look at 9S's face and not red eyes at the very least. So people are
he doesn't have red eyes.
Yeah, so white chlorination. Yeah, so there's again a lot of stuff that it clearly is there for important reasons, but its actual effect on the first and within the bounds of 14's realm is the big question. Because just because it worked that way in a previous game doesn't mean when it travels across space and time and everything that when it mixes with the etheric properties of the source or the first or anything that it would work the same.
I just want people to be really, really careful about treating Nier's canon as canon to 14. Don't do that, please. Not yet.
Not yet. Wait till the second tier and we have a few more answers.
The one thing that is certain is that 2B has been trying to solo the instance.
Dude, she does like 12k DPS according to a Reddit post. 2P does some fucking work. She's like better than 90% of the alliances.
I'm talking about 2B though.
Oh, you mean those?
She's been trying to solo it. Yeah, and she's just like wiped a bunch.
Maybe it was 24 2Bs and they weren't as good as 2P.
Yeah.
Right, mechanics.
Oh, maybe it was just like one party at 2Bs and they wiped in that room.
Yeah,
That's
man.
possible.
It was first time bonus. They didn't know. It's literally the beheading story of what's her face again. It's just that it happened to all 2Bs this time. 24 samurais. There were no tanks or healers.
Yeah, that's pretty dumb.
Although 2P does not need a tanker. She really doesn't.
Did you just say that's pretty dumb?
Yeah. I did. That is pretty dumb.
Yeah, make really good use of Third Eye, I guess.
I wanted some answers as to who made them, where they came from, whether there was some association with Omega, with Ronka, with Alec, with I want anything.
It's not the time. It's not the time for answers, and I don't think it's going to be any of those, to be honest.
I don't even know if we're going to get any at all. Like,
I think we will.
This is what I've been saying. Like in the beginning when this first got announced, I think a lot of stuff lore-wise, not only from the 14th side, but from a little bit from the Nier side, would fall into the cracks. Because I really feel like trying to bridge the gap between Nier lore and 14 lore is a little bit of a stretch. Even though they're really taking a crack at it, but there's still some stuff missing. And there's like with any other 24 men we've done, we've gotten a little bit of coherent lore just because it's on our side. It's in the game, it's in the world that we are in right now.
Right.
When you bring in an unknown factor like Nier,
but Ivalice was pretty similar.
Ivalice, we got a pretty good amount of, at least the big thing about Ivalice was that it tied the existence of current civilization and how it had kind of overwritten past civilization, and we we started to at least get a time. The big thing that the entire Ivalice series gave us is it gave us a big timeline on the history of the Garleans.
Yeah, exactly.
That was the big thing that it unfolded.
That's what I'm saying. Like the lore of the Ivalice games and like the metaphysics of the Ivalice games are very, very different.
Yeah,
to 14.
Right.
Koji and Oda built that bridge because that's what they do. They build bridges. I assumed that they were going to do it for Yorha, but now I'm not so sure. Now I'm not so sure whether they're going to bother building that bridge at all, or whether they're just literally going to leave it all open ended.
Right.
I think there'll be some bridge, but I think that because the first is, I think there's a big reason why it's on the first, other than it just being where we are for the expansion, is they don't need to bridge it as much on the first. They don't. The entire etheric makeup and history of that place is so different that it needs to exist there. There needs to be a why and a reason, but they don't need to do anything.
It's literally an alternate timeline and an alternate reality to the source. Like that's what the shards are.
They can do whatever the fuck they want. In other words, and we have
in some way.
So the big question / speculation after the copy city, in terms of what we know about Nier and what's possible, where do you think we're going?
I think it would be cool to go to the carnival.
Everyone wants the amusement park. Literally every single person wants the amusement park.
I think going to the Forest Kingdom could kind of make sense as well.
Go see Pascal, or actually interact with Pascal within this storyline?
Not even, well, yeah, that'd be cool. Not necessarily even Pascal, though, but just like the Forest Kingdom.
Okay.
Lahi. They get their own Lahi. We can bring them over.
It's a point as well, like, it doesn't necessarily all have to be in Khuja. I mean, it probably will be.
Yeah, I'd imagine it's just going to be deeper
going down that hole.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't see it. Until we actually get sent into another dimension at some point.
Yeah.
Which, again, I won't be surprised.
I think the amusement park, I agree, amusement park would definitely be weak story-wise, but just like aesthetically. That's like the story can't come first for this. Like, it would be really, really cool to see it.
Right.
The story can't come first? Yeah. Ironically.
Yeah. I don't know how they would swing it. I think the bunker is always a possibility.
There's a lot of possibilities, and there's some bosses that are in pretty high demand, like Emil and the opera singer. There's some pretty high in demand bosses.
Having the bunker in orbit of Novrant would certainly make sense with what's going on at the moment.
Right.
Yeah, we'll see.
We shall indeed. But that unfortunately
several months.
Unfortunately, other than saying we liked it, we enjoyed the music, without talking about the individual fights, it was a great experience overall. It's really hard to get more specific than that, I feel, because we just want to know what the fuck is going on more than anything else.
Right. One side note, I kind of wish the suicide bots would actually scream at you like they do in Nier Automata. They're running at you. Like that, I kind of missed that, and I wanted it here, and I didn't get it. I was kind of mad.
Oh,
you'll be all right.
Like,
no, well, luckily for you, Slyh. Actually, you didn't know this, Slyh, but they do. That sound does happen. It's what your party members are sounding like when they're frantically trying to not fucking die. I'm pretty sure I made that sound because the first time I went there, I got all 4 bots on me as the healer, and I'm pretty sure I made that sound. Yeah, tanks grab those, by the way. It helps.
Yeah.
Please.
Just please do it. And, okay, so that's with Yorha. Now we're an hour 40 into the show. Next we have Hades. Hades Extreme, something that we don't have to, I would like to say we don't have to talk about it lore-wise, but there's a couple of very important things about that fight. We know those people are fucking dead. There's no more talking about Laha, Brea, and Igayorm, like, somehow not being dead, or, like, the eye was destroyed. No, he has their fucking souls in his cauldron. They're dead, alright? I know it's not canon, but I'm treating it as it is.
It's your headcanon.
It's my headcanon. At the very least, the minstreling wanderer thinks they're fucking dead. I don't know how he even thinks anything about them, because he won't admit he's Uship. But he is. They're the same. Yeah. He's just in disguise. Don't believe it. It was a fun fight. Fun extreme. Pretty interesting to watch people learn it and prog it, because it's hard to tell where it really stands compared to some of the previous ones, because it's fast paced and cinematic, but it didn't do anything really new.
No. The way I like to describe it is Hades EX is probably one of the best examples of ways fight designers could use like probably every mechanic we've seen throughout the years and mix it up and give us a really fun, fast-paced fight. That's the way I can describe it.
What about you, Ethys? You haven't had any time in Hades Extreme. Have you gotten to catch anything, or are you still going blind?
No, I watched your clear video, because going in blind at this time is stupid. It would be a really bad idea. Not impossible, but definitely like irresponsible.
No, whereas like half or 90% of PF is like, have you watched the video?
Yeah.
So yeah,
it looks awesome. It looks really, really fun. And I'm probably gonna start progging it tonight.
I think the big takeaway is Shinryu is a very slow, calculated, long encounter where the mechanics just there's tons of downtime between mechanics while you're fighting the boss in particular. With Hades, he basically machine guns a few mechanics at you, takes a minute break, then machine guns a couple mechanics at you, takes a break. That's like how it works.
He seems to have way less health though.
Well, it's because it's 4 phases.
It's 4 phases. That's why.
Yeah. And also, it looks like he has less health when you're watching a bunch of 470 BIS players do it. And 450, those are all very tight DPS checks.
Well, I'm going to be doing it with 470 BIS players. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you won't have any problems like DPS-wise or anything.
No, I can't.
Honestly, I'd say in terms of prog, a lot of people have trouble with the second phase.
Yup, they sure do.
That phase.
They sure do.
That phase.
There's so many ways.
There's a lot,
right?
Yeah, there's a lot going on, and I feel that's where a lot of people trip up in terms of prog if they're not like watching videos or anything and they're doing it straight up. Yeah, that's where it throws like honestly, once you get to third phase and then the subsequent final phase, they're not that bad. Again, it's mechanics.
But it just takes so fucking long to get to them that like they can't be that bad. Otherwise, it would just be so unfair.
Yeah, and this is a discussion I have a lot of the times when it comes to long encounter. Now, keep in mind, Hades without the intermissions is a much shorter fight. In full I-470 with intermissions, with the actual uptime, I think it came out to just under 12 minutes.
Yeah, and see, the thing about that is you're pushing.
So bad.
And I'm in full 470. I think it was like 11 minutes, like 20-something seconds. It's still pretty fucking long because of all the intermissions and shit. So so I think most phases, I know the first phase is like a 2-minute 45 in Rage. I think each of the Asians is like 70 or 80 seconds. Except for Nabrialis, who's only like, you have like 40 seconds or some shit to like drop him by enough health. And then I think the third phase is like 3 minutes, and the fourth phase is like, I think, just about 2 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
So how long is it like at its maximum
Altogether?
I think it's like somewhere in the 13-minute range.
Yeah.
In regards to if you include all the intermissions, include like just barely beating enrages. And they do enrages, they do most of the enrages here, they do by making the bosses, they become untargetable. So if you failed, you're dead. Like if Hades starts casting Dark 4, you're dead. He just goes untargetable.
Now the thing about the first enrage, he actually gives you like 2 autos, I think, before he enrages.
Yeah, but as soon as he starts the cast, he becomes untargetable and you're done.
You can't do anything. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So
sounds pretty forgiving though.
It is.
Yeah, it actually is.
Kind of has to be.
The Asians themselves,
least
like,
forgiving.
DPS wise, the most forgiving thing. You could really fuck up. I've had runs where I was helping out a friend, and pretty much all the DPS wiped. Like all the DPS died. So
Slyh, did I just lose my headset?
You just muted yourself. Nah, you just muted yourself.
Okay. His microphone just gave out, essentially.
No. Like it's Discord being really funny.
Okay.
But yeah, like I said, all 4 DPS died. I don't know how it happened. This was like during I think it was Grand Cross. It was something about Grand Cross. We died. Healers got us back up, and we still made the check. All the Asians are pretty forgiving.
All the phases.
So this isn't in minimum.
Forgiving.
This isn't in minimum eye level again. So important to keep in mind.
No, I think the big thing to take away, because it didn't really feel like there was anything that was like a brand new idea here, and there were some things from normal that don't make an appearance in extreme. That if you have any prior rating knowledge, you can go into a phase and have it figured out immediately. Like when you get to Asian Prime, you literally go, "Oh, this is Grand Cross Omega.
Grand Cross.
Do this." A person who has not done, who does not have years of experience, even if they've done like some end game, they aren't going to immediately recognize everything that's happening.
Yeah, those old mechanics.
If they didn't do Chaos in 09, if they didn't do Neo X Death, if they didn't do Midgard Sormer, if they're not used to Exaflares or like there's things you can miss at the very least. That being said, it certainly is a farmable fight in regards to its length. Because if you do have that experience, or once you have it, repeating it is very elementary.
Yep.
And
so it's kind of hard to assess what the difficulty is.
Yes. I mean, that's true of everything. Anytime you have an experience with a type of mechanic, but it doesn't have anything that's like Shinryu's ads that need to be healed to max, or or knowing like the specific drop positions, or like tank buster timings on the ads. Like I'm even just using Shinryu as an example. I even looked back at Thornton. I remember people couldn't do triple dive bombs in Thornton. They needed that spot on the ground to even have any remote idea of how to avoid it. Like, it's so hard to actually judge difficulty when everyone was so shit. They couldn't, myself included, we couldn't fucking do 3 dive bombs at once in Thornton Extreme. Nobody, like, many people could not wing that, for the love of God. How much that's improved over the years is noticeable, to say the least. Or Shinryu, turn around and see where the ice is. Like, that wasn't a hard mechanic. You know how many groups it wiped? Ice that's coming from behind you, tidal waves that are to your left or your... It's like, come on, man. It's like, it's so hard to judge these things because simple shit is not always simple shit.
For everybody. All right.
Soar is another example. People still couldn't do dive bombs for shit. They're like, I don't know where he's going. I know he goes straight 3 times, and I don't know where that is.
People just can't skip it. That's not.
Which way is forward?
Which way is back? Yeah. Don't worry. I already have that command ready for ultimate. There we go. Oh no, I changed it to rip. That's right. There you go. Perfect.
Hell yeah.
That's my ultimate.
That's a living liquid.
Yeah, there you go. That's my I wiped on ultimate command. Perfect.
Oh fuck yeah, love it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I liked the only thing I'll say is I like farming Hades. Which is, considering the length and considering you get 2 totems per kill.
It's saying something.
is great.
Yep.
I'm glad it's not like a Byakko that I can't stand doing. I'm just grateful for that. And dude, if they want to go back and give 2 totems for Byakko, maybe I'll start doing it. Turn that shit back around. I will say I do have one major annoyance about Hades, though.
Okay.
The mount is 99 totems, and you get 2 at a time. So what the fuck do I do with that 1 totem?
You can, I don't know.
People have said kill it 1 more time and buy the shield. That was the only recommendation I got.
Just lube it up and shove it right up your butt.
Because you played yourself.
Yeah. I guess so, huh?
I don't like that recommendation, believe it or not. It's not my first choice. Delete it, in other words, yeah. I hate the idea of just deleting it. Like, I just don't like having, so just make it 100 totems. Fuck it. Don't make it 99, make it 100. Just for sake of evenness. We'll go with that. I think you'll enjoy it. So you're going to be, are you streaming that tonight, Hades?
Yeah, I'll be streaming some Hades prog tonight. Yeah. I think that's probably what I'll be doing. Yeah.
I've got minimum item level Alexander in 30 minutes, 40 minutes.
Oh boy.
That's been an experience.
Shit.
We did Cruise Chaser in like 3 pulls, even though half the group hasn't like done Alexander. So it's pretty nice.
Damn.
Cruise Chaser is pretty,
Nice.
Looking back, like again, also minimum item level, it is a joke. You need to really take gear off on top, like take accessories off on top of minimum item level to really get like a super good challenge on a lot of the fights. They nerfed a lot. They nerfed a lot of them into Oblivion, and some of them just like are potencies for our skills.
Yeah.
They just don't treat the like. It's insane how many times I have to either stop DPSing or like we're just way ahead of any DPS check that has ever existed. That it's like not even fair.
Damn.
Not you. Stop. Aloha. Get up here. No, don't run. Come on. Yeah, Brit Justice is still a pain in the ass. So the other things that are left are mostly kind of the smaller things. Obviously, job balance changes are one of the biggest topics. We talked about them last week when we had Tate on. It's interesting seeing how FFLogs is unfolding now that it's working and there's like a few thousand parses for every job. Summoner apparently is the beneficiary of way more buffs than was ever intended because that shit is insane. It's like, and you look at the overall ratings, it's fucking pooping on everything. It's like actually not like working as intended, I feel.
What kind of numbers are we talking?
More than every other job, I'll tell you that much. Including black mages.
How much more? Like, are we talking like 1,000 more?
It's pretty fucking significant. Let me get the overall. Okay, so let me pull up the overall and just for 5.1. So this isn't the right display. How come it's displaying it in... It's not displaying the actual number. It's giving me like the percentile. I need the actual... I didn't have to do this the other day. What happened? I literally... it didn't look like this the other day. Now it's giving me like maximum percentiles and shit. Yeah. Well, yeah, Ifrit scaling got brought up to match, I think, the other scalings. Yeah, I know. My hover over is its percentile, and I don't know why it's doing that when it's never done that before. Instead of giving me the actual number. Sort to DPS number. Let's see. No, I have it set to that. Oh, is it working now? No. It doesn't like me.
Might have to pick a fight.
Nope, here we go. Somebody sent me an updated link that has the proper one. Yeah, so for Summoner, we have in there... I'll give you just the maximums, and I'll pick I guess I could pick a specific fight, because the maximums for overall ratings, and that might be why I looked at it, because I was looking at ratings, is 14.897. That's across all 4 encounters. 14,897. That's the maximum. With an outlier of a 15.2. So that's across all of them. And then Samurai's in second place with 14.7. as its pre-outlier maximum. Monk above that at 14.5. Dragoon above that with 14.4. And then Black Mage with a massive differential between the lowest and the highest. But it's still only been a few days of parse uploads, so how the quality of this is
a couple of thousand might sound like a lot, but it's not that huge a sample.
Right.
Yeah, but it's still, I think it's at least safe enough to say that Summoner has...
Probably busted.
Yeah, probably busted.
But within the standards of, well, is it within the standards of, well, we can kind of forgive this?
No.
Like, if it's this much of, okay.
No. Okay,
if we didn't have Ultimate coming out in a couple of weeks, then it might be like, whatever, it's like 6 months until the next raid tier. Who cares? They'll fix it before then. But right now, it's kind of like...
Okay, so E1 Savage Summoner's maximum is 13.9. Obviously, that's the merged with the 40-second intermission. Mm-hmm. Right below that is Dragoon at 12.9. That's 1,000 below.
Bullshit.
Now, keep in mind that Eden Prime's very odd because of the ad phase. And, of course, the downtime. Yeah.
That's still some funky bullshit.
So let me give you something else. Voidwalker's 100% uptime. Great encounter, to use as an example. Samurai has the max there. Before Outliers at 15.965. Summoner's max is 15.847 in second place. Then Monk. Then Black Mage, then Dragoon. And again, I'm only using the maximums. The medians are probably the safer. I'm not. Black Mage 100% shouldn't be below. I will say Black Mage actually has a higher maximum than Summoner. It has a lower median. Is what I.
But that could be explained by skill caps.
That's what makes this only few days of information very touch and go. Because then you have E3 where Monk has the highest median, but Samurai has the highest maximum, and then Summoner's below both of them for maximums. But median wise, it's Monk, Summoner, Samurai, Dragoon. And again, Black Mage still not in the conversation. Then that's not even my biggest problem with this. It's Machinists. It's still my biggest problem with all of this. In that Machinist
should be way higher.
Machinist is just chill. I mean, it's the highest RDPS amongst the ranged, which is exactly where it belongs. But I'm still not quite pleased with its position. I will say it very much surprised me to see both the maximum and medians for Dancer being higher than Bard. I know they got their nerfs to their dot potencies, but E1 Dancer actually makes sense in E1 because the ad phase. It's a bit of cheating, but the fact that it's true in E2, both maximums and medians. In E3, it's like I'm breaking down every individual fight, and then in Titan, across the board, Dancy boy.
So, I know it might be difficult too, but we always kind of do this.
Yeah.
Like, what would be the solution in terms of like balance? Like, where would you put every job in terms of number, in terms of like where they need to be, and everybody is just fucking comfortable with this?
I think the range physicals still need to always hover towards the bottom, except for Machinists. Machinists being below Red Mage in a lot of cases, I find is unacceptable. That's something I think is wrong.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
And it's true in the overall standings. Some fights, Machinists has higher medians or maximums or at least higher medians than Red Mage. So I think Bard being at the bottom is
probably skill cap as well.
I do think Dancer should be at the bottom. I think at any given point Dancer should be be at the bottom, or at least close to it, very very close to Bard. I actually think Bard and Dancer are close enough, but I'd almost expect more from Bard in a sense. Just because I think it might. It's again skill gap. I think Dancer's easier to play is a big reason for these results in the past few days. So that's of course a major factor. Ninja people are still figuring out, so we can't really get a solid read on that. I think ultimately the rule is the less utility you have, the more damage you should be doing within your own role. Base number 1, Black Mage should be beating Summoner and Red Mage. Samurai should be beating Monk, Dragoon, and Ninja, and Machinist should be beating Dancer, Bard. That's clearly not how this is panning out at the current moment. So that's mistake number 1 is Summoner beating out Black Mage. We had a discussion I think last week where I said like 800 more. I think a Black Mage should be doing at any given balanced state.
Yeah.
In terms of total RDPS contribution. But I think Samurai is looking like it's basically in the right spot. I think Samurai is looking correct. Machinist is looking correct-er, but not quite all the way there yet. I feel. But Melee, yeah, I think Melee, right now I'm looking at Melee, and I think what was previously one of the worst roles is now probably closest to being one of the best balanced roles.
Yeah, Melee looks fine.
Yeah. So, but it's like, it's still tough to judge. It depends on how you really want to personally look at things like Curing Waltz and Shield Samba versus Black Mage blowing your dick off. Not blowing your dick, blowing it off, to be clear. So it's a matter of where you value each of them. So, yeah. It's interesting to see where everything's landed. I think, still looking at this, I feel more now that you could play anything and be fine. I will say that. It's just Summoner seems to be overturned.
That's the most important thing.
Right.
And the tanks have been as even as they are.
End up anyway?
What happened?
Isn't that where we wanted to end up anyway?
Yeah, and it's kind of the place the game has always been, but there's just certain places where it'd be nice to have. Again, Machinist being a little higher, Summoner being brought down a little bit. But everything looks like it's in a place where it's at least reasonable to have them invited. I'm sure someone will post math with like Barter Dancer just being completely pointless to have, because we had that same situation with Black Mage and with Summoners being in their current state, and having raid utility in the form of an AoE heal for the Phoenix phase, and having the RDPS increase, things like that play an important role. But I'm more okay with this. Just Machinist push it up a little bit more, and Summoner bring it down a little bit, and I think you have a good thing.
So we're gonna see Summoner in like every
patch. Summoner's not only gonna be in every raid, I think it's gonna be in every balance patch for the rest of this fucking expansion. Along with Dragoon. Just because you don't ask, but it happens every time.
Why not? Yeah.
Yeah, and then every time I get to do
we
this.
Didn't ask, we didn't need it, but it's alright, we'll take it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. Since you're handing them out, I guess.
Yep. Some other things pop up in the patch. Pixie quests were there. I believe I'm the farthest of all of us, and I think there's only one thing that needs to really be said about that. Two things. One, Lee Meg is wonderful. I love it. And everyone's going to be asking for housing, Lee Meg housing now, so we're doomed.
No.
Second, our villain here appears to be the reincarnated previous king of the Pixies, and at my point, while we figure it out from the rank 4 quest, the rank 5 quest pretty much has the other characters say the same thing. So it reaffirms that they're going to be diving into Anlad being the reincarnation of Tyrbeck's friend, who became Titania. Tyrbeck's personal friend was the one who became the last Titania.
Is it a reincarnation though? Because
they don't know. Yeah, actually, Ezel the Second questions.
Fae are already dead.
Yes,
the Pixies are already dead.
Ezel the Second actually questions the same thing. He goes, "How could it even be a reincarnation? Because you are dead children, but how did the ether from Titania dispersion become another pixie?" Like, he questions it. Ezel the Second is actually pretty insightful into questioning a lot of these things.
Yeah, probably just comes back together. We just purged. We just kicked him from the throne.
Yeah, it's sort of implied and presumed that because ultimately they are ethereal beings, that the ether just came back together, in a sense. But it came back together incomplete because Anlad doesn't know their previous life. They just have dreams of their previous life. Yeah. Also, I think Kohost is in one of those pixie quests. There's a very tall man in a Foff outfit, the Toad outfit, dancing in the middle of the fields, singing
You're talking
songs.
about the tall foie. Yeah, we've met him before.
Yeah. That's Koji. I'm more
quest.
I'm more and more convinced that's Koji.
Okay.
I feel confident that's my headcanon that's Koji. But he shows up in the dailies too. Stalking Porksies. He's still just stalking Porksies everywhere.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
Pixie quests have been good. They also are the easiest dailies you've ever had. It's like literally under 4 minutes. It takes longer to travel across the zone than it does to do anything. Like more so than the previous ones. There's also some other little things. Blue Mage, just to talk about that. Obviously, we're waiting for the major update in 5.15, but we have an idea of what the buffs looked like. Overall, damage way up across the board because not needing to rely on Off Guard or Peculiar Light. They became single target and AoE trick attacks, essentially. And the learning rate, if you're doing it synced, is pretty much 100%.
Good.
So if you are missing spells prior to the next update, you should have no issue doing them as long as there's a few others interested. You can solo through most of the dungeons with stuff like Tailscrew or Doom or whatever. And the hard modes, you could do you could do like 2 tanks, 2 healers, 4 blue mages, and then swap.
8 blue mages.
I mean, you could do 8 blue mages too, but you could do tank healer blue mage if you really wanted to, if you just wanted to learn the spells.
8 blue mages.
Or you could do 8 blue mages and have some fun with it. So, yeah. There's all sorts of things. A lot of the little updates, crafting and gathering, obviously we couldn't touch upon. That's been a major what the fuck is going on. Leveling them is a joke now. As is desynthesis, mind you. Oh, yeah. They go very quickly now for those who are lower level. You'll hit like 5 gathering nodes and you'll be like level 12.
Damn.
From 1. It's actually ridiculous.
I'm into that. I could party with that.
It's pretty fucking ridiculous how quick the lower level gatherers and crafters actually go now. So if you've been putting it off, don't anymore. There's no point. It's so
and get rid of your old shit too. Like decent. Seriously. Everything.
I've started doing spring cleaning. I've gone pretty hardcore on spring cleaning now.
If you're waiting on a queue or anything decent, it's so good. It's a good feeling, honestly.
Yeah, hunt trains are going quicker now that there's less instances. S ranks, of course, there's less of those to hunt as well. But the nuts are using upgrade for upgrade materials. All the basic stuff, of course, we've come to expect from 0.1 patch are all still here. The new launcher is another thing. If only it had a dark mode, that's the only thing missing from it at this point.
Y'all some bitches, man.
You want to know something funny about it, though? You want to know something? Well, I only say it because at 2 in the morning, when it blasts you in the face with all that light, it's not great when you're first waking up for the patch.
Yeah, what is up with Yoshida in light mode?
He just likes light mode. So does PvP.
He really likes it.
PvP changes we didn't even remotely get into, which everyone's been saying for Frontlines is going way better. I've heard the opposite for Feast. People who are competitive feasters are not as enthusiastic.
Never happy.
No, actually, they were. I spoke to quite a few of them when we were dealing with the season towards the end of Stormblood, and they said there were definitely things that needed to change, but they were pretty content with it. But I've seen some.
I just remember all the feasters were mad at the start of Stormblood. They were all like, "No, they made it easy. They made it casual friendly."
I remember by the time I remember speaking to people who were going to like the Feast regionals, they were more content. They just said that
and come around to it.
There were absolutely there's 100% problems, but it's certainly in a balanced state. Like you still need to timed out burst windows, knock people out in a very coordinated manner. But there's obviously some balance issues with some jobs. Right now, Ninja and Dragoon are literally like nobody survives. It's impossible to survive. If they're played properly. So, and then all the ranged hate their lives, apparently. Like, don't play ranged ever for anything. Yeah, man, there's still so many things to talk about, but we were already over our 2-hour window. It's kind of hard to fit, because 5.1 doesn't seem like that juicy of a patch on the surface, but there's a lot of little things that add up to some improved experiences.
PvP and crafting are probably like 2 of their own shows right there.
Probably, yeah. A lot has changed with crafting, especially in particular. And PvP still hasn't had its first season, so we don't really know how the competitive side. But people are enjoying frontline changes, Rival Wings a bit more. I've seen people PvPing after the Garo event, which is a miracle. They want that new armor. They want that new dope ass armor.
I hate that armor. I think it looks so dumb.
I love it. I fucking love it. It's my new glamour.
All right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Now people had an idea. People had an idea for Norvrantia or whatnot that the winner should wear a golden 2B outfit if it can be dyed. Since it People
Alright.
And
had
if
that
you've
idea.
won it. And if
Yeah.
you've won it. It can be
Okay.
dyed, yeah. Well, the
It can
discussion
be
was
dyed.
if it could be dyed last week before we had it, essentially. And now we know it can be dyed. And thus, you just have to win it first, which has not gone well for
ponder
me
that.
thus far. Well, you're the one who has to write the lore for this, so
Right.
That's true.
that's your
That's not a bad idea, though.
yeah. It's the first version because now we have Novront Zivia, whatever the fuck it's gonna be
No,
called.
not triviant.
No, Triviant. There you go. I don't remember what we called it last time.
Okay.
So.
You tried to call it something else, but I was like, nah, dog.
Nah, dog. Nah, man. Yeah, and also unless obviously again, other than the big topics, we just simply haven't had time for it because we wanted to make room for a lot of lore discussion with 5.1. Is there any other things that we should tackle on before I get going to eat dinner and raid?
I think so. Again, I've only done the MSQ and the 24-man and the beginning of the Pixie Quest so far, so that's like I can't speak to like what else is going on.
Happy. Did we? I think there was one thing we missed from the prelim notes that's pretty important to you as far as next week. Well, not next week, for Ultimate.
Please enlighten me.
Ooh.
We never touched on the timings, the raid timings. In
Oh,
terms
that's
of-
right. They fixed the slow instance, fast instance. Now they specifically said for Savage, which I'm assuming also for Ultimate will be going forward, but
Right.
I don't know if this is an every instance thing, but it will definitely apply to Ultimate. I don't think we'll have to worry about slow fast instance when it comes to Ultimate. Yeah, that was big. They made no acknowledgement to that like publicly about all of the feedback in the raid community constantly drawing comparisons, and then they just patched it.
Great.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean it's big kudos for them. Again, I think it just kind of goes to show again, 5.1 took a lot of things feedback related and made serious strides to improve them. Chad also brought up Slice's right. We didn't talk about, which I kicked my ass twice now. It's really hard for me to see the slices in that thing. Because if I can't see the vertical slice, like I'm just like, well, I guess I'm standing under it, and then I move, and it's somehow not where I thought it was. I was like, I was safe where I just was. I don't know how. Dude, that thing is fucking legit. That is legit ultimate practice. Go do that. It is legit ultimate practice. And then the other thing was, what was the other thing? Oh, New Game Plus,
New Game Plus.
which there isn't much to say about.
And we already kind of memed on
Xehanort being the quest giver, yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool that Xehanort gets to be in a good game this time. He's had a rough year.
Whoa.
Don't worry, he's got a
Said
DLC.
it.
He's got a DLC coming out next month. I'm sure it'll be fun. I'm sure it'll work out for him and Remind somehow. It'll be okay. It's all right. Listen, Xehanort, your part was actually good. It was the rest that could have been better. Your part was really good, sort of, but mostly yes. All right. All right, but with that, gentlemen, I think we can wrap up. Thank the patrons, say where to find us, and then I must immediately end the call and go eat my grayons, as we learned.
Sounds
earlier.
good. Your grounds.
My grayons. That was such a great thing. Of all the things that I could have showed up for my Discord, that was probably
That was definitely planned. That was a planned bit.
It's definitely the best one. All right, so for the patrons, of course, those of you who know weekly, we always shout out to Steel Series, one of our sponsors for the show. And we also have our Patreon sponsors who have been supporting. Their names have been rotating in the top right. It's the first of the month, it's the first show of the month, so there's probably some updates to be had in the top right of the stream. And we also have to thank our patrons of darkness, Kurenai Oni, who has threatened me a great many times with scary... Ethys and Slyh, I'm sure you know. But he doesn't need to. He's still very, very greatly appreciated. And Khuja, who is also our first Warrior of Darkness. And still is a Warrior of Darkness. It was a Warrior of Light, now it's Warrior of Darkness. And he's got the cool image. They haven't given me new images in a while. But that's fine. They don't have to do it all the time. It's fine. It works out.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's Khuja Cross, and then we have Kurenai for the other one. It works out perfectly.
Thank you so much, guys.
Yes.
Thank you all.
Yes. Checks in the mail, Ethys. Don't forget.
No.
See? There it is. There's the no.
No.
See? There you go. All right. Now, unfortunately, gentlemen, since the show has started, my scenes for you have gotten screwed up, I think, when I clicked away on Discord that one time. So we will do our outros from the normal screen where they can see the same information. A little bit, 0 days without incident, but what are you going to do? Sometimes shit happens. So, Ethys, what are you looking at?
I don't know. What am I looking at?
What are you doing? What are you doing?
I don't know. I'm just hi. I'm Ethys. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter and YouTube and Instagram and all of the places. Ethys Asher. You know who I am. I'll be streaming in like a couple hours. We'll do some Hades practice, and then I have another Magic the Gathering arena ladder match. I'm doing a ANZ competition for an esports org that you guys should sign up for if you're in the ANZ region and you're a Magic nerd, because there's a bunch of cash prizes and like laptops and all kinds of good stuff. So yeah, drop by tonight and we'll do that once we're done with 14. Thank you very much for having me on the show again. I love you all so much, and I'll see you on the next one. And then there's this way.
Slyh. He's up. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Slyh. You can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Slyakagreyfox, Twitter at Slythefox, youtube.com/development room, Facebook, all the places. Next week I will be in Tejas, or Texas, as we commonly call it.
Texas.
Oh yeah, it's pretty commonly called Texas. You're right.
Texas.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll be in Texas for OniCon. So if you're in the Galveston area and you are going to OniCon, feel free to say hi. I don't bite hard. As far as tonight, I will be doing one of two things. I will be back on Haunting Ground if it fucking works and the dog actually wants to fucking listen. Huey. If not, I'll just play Neo 2. So thanks. Happy, where can they find you? You
can find me, Mr. Happy1227, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Occasionally when I post that, I've gotten so used to saying it that I'm practically numb to the whole thing. Still doing Ring Fit now that I'm back from my power shut-offs on my impromptu trip to San Diego. Can finally get back into that and feeling pretty good. Lost a couple pounds already on that one. Just got to stay away from the Halloween candy at this point. Leftover.
I got them. I got those pounds. I've been trying to eat so much to gain that salmonella weight I lost. So thanks for that.
You're welcome. On top of that, I have barely had any time to make my 5.1 videos because power shut off in the San Francisco area, the Bay Area. Went to San Diego and had to use our friend's OP Group, a talent management that manages people like T-Pain as well as other streamers. Yeah.
T-Pain streams?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They manage him.
You didn't know that?
Yeah. T-Pain does
really?
stream. Yeah. There's a lot of people who stream. Hannibal Buress streams. There's a lot of people who stream.
Does he stream himself just like taking baths in money?
Plays video games, dude. Taking baths in money? No, I don't think he does. But they let me use their studio, but I couldn't obviously get much work done there. I made an impromptu Hades guide and like highlighted a kill of one thing, and that's all I've done. And then now I've got a group for Ultimate, so I will be doing Hardcore Prog for Ultimate on November 12th.
Hey.
And we've been doing nightly minimum item level Alexander, Ukab, Uwu, all that stuff. And thus I haven't had an evening to work on anything pretty much at all. I finish Ring Fit, shower, eat, I'd like take a 20-minute break, and then I'm like, well, I gotta go live again, I guess.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's been pretty rough, but I'll get around to it. So that's what my current status is. But I'm glad that I'm going to be doing Ultimate. There'll be plenty of videos for progress on Ultimate in a couple weeks, so that'll be exciting. And Ishgard Restoration comes out the same day. So for those of you not doing Ultimate, you'll have some alternative options with probably a bit more lore and story on Ishgard and how its current social status is working, because that's a big question mark still, as far as I'm concerned. And with that, gentlemen, we are going to move on over into literally a 30-second post-show, so I can go heat up some food, because I have raid in 10 minutes from now. And I will, and it's been great. Thanks for coming on again, Ethys. It's good to have you, as always.
Anytime.
And safe travels for your
Thank you.
for your trip to Norway. Sly, your mic's not working again. He's trying to say thank you, but he was saying goodbye, everyone. Thank you for watching. It was great. Right? Did I say everything? Was that everything, Sly? All right, fuck you. All right, we're done. And with that, we're going to move on over to a short post show. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. We'll see you guys next week. Until then, whoa. Bye-bye. That was weird, Discord. All right, either way, we're going to leave before Discord screws up again. All right, that's it. Post show cut for YouTube.